Last Thursday, Mark, you took a close look at the ties, the historical ties between the Mormons and the Masons.
That's right. We had a tremendous response to our story. A lot of questions still remain from viewers out there about Freemasons, and we thought we'd go in search of some answers. Tonight, we go back to the Salt Lake Grand Temple, find out what it takes to be a Freemason.
For centuries, mystery and intrigue have surrounded the Freemason fraternity. The secrets, the ceremonies and rites, and the draw to powerful men. Presidents, astronauts, artists, judges have all pledged this centuries-old fraternity down through the years. And this mystery and intrigue is still alive today. Just ask some of the 3,000 people who showed up for a public open house at the Salt Lake Grand Lodge. Before the doors opened to the public, I had the opportunity to sit down with past Grand Master Glenn Cook.
Glenn, what is the fascination right now with Masonry?
I think the current interest is a combination of factors. One, the craft, as we sometimes call Freemasonry, does have an air of mystery about it, and it should. Secondly, the current authors spin a good tale, and that brings interest.
What is a Mason then? To the layman out there who has no connection with Masonry, doesn't know anything about the lodges, what is a Mason?
I guess in shortest terms, a Mason is a man who believes in deity, however he expresses that. He can be a Mormon, a Muslim, a Methodist, that's up to him. And a man who's willing to unite with other men to do good things.
Now, what's so secretive about that?
About that, there's nothing secretive. And some of the finest men in our country have been Masons. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, a number of our presidents, men who founded this country.
Some even say the Freemasons have infiltrated all segments of society and government and ultimately control the course of history. Is it true?
Does something ever come into play where it's time for us to act? It's time for Masons in certain positions to take the reins and move this country in a different direction?
No, there is no organization of Masons where we say it's time to step in and correct the political system or the current political view. That's not something that we do.
Why all the interest in Freemasonry? We decided to ask some of the Masonic members here at the temple.
To constantly strive to make yourself a better person.
As I'm a man and in need of improvement, I really was kind of drawn to it, and as I learned more about it, I really realized that's what it was about, and that's what I wanted to become.
They're very nice, very polite, very educated. They seem like they were always striving for something better, and I just came to the conclusion that that was for me.
Secret society.
Different fraternities, different groups, different sororities all have their initiations and all have their secrets. Boy Scouts have purportedly secret handshakes and have ranks within them and have ways that different scouts know each other.
What questions would I have to ask you that you couldn't answer?
Literally, how would I recognize another Mason? And what are the passwords and modes of recognition? Most of the other facts I'm willing to talk about.
Who would make a good member? Would I make a good member?
If I knew you for 6 months, I knew your character, if you were willing to submit a petition or request to join, if you were able to have references, if we could look at your background, talk to your family, if you had 2 Masons to sponsor you, who were comfortable that you were a man of character who's willing to make obligations in the name of God, you may make a good Mason.
You guys take membership very seriously.
You do. This is a man that I welcome into my home. This is a man who is willing to care for my children and my wife. This is a man whom I must have trust in and whom I must know.
Yeah, some of the answers to some of the questions that people had after the first story ran. So yeah.
I was surprised the vast difference in people. Presidents, John Wayne, Arnold Palmer, like the different kinds of people that were Masons.
Roy Rogers, Mozart. If you look down through history at who was a Mason, all gamuts of society, from doctors, lawyers, astronauts, presidents. Pretty interesting.
Varied people, yeah.